Well, ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas season to all you yokers out there. We're once again joined by the lovely Acewing, and this day has some significance to you, does it not, my friend?
Oh, it has all the significance, my friend.
What might it be, dear Acewing?
Well, you see, there comes a day in everyone's life where your age just goes up by one. It's not very momentous in some people's eyes, but to some people they call it a birthday.
What do other people call it?
Just Tuesday.
Okay.
But
Very nice. Yes, it is indeed Acewing's birthday, so get some birthday hype going for him if you're here with us live. I'm not going to have him introduce himself again. He did that last week. Long story short, he's a longtime friend, and he's probably one of the next best people to have on the YokeTalk to really get that YokeTalk feel, because we go back pretty much just about as far as myself and Pastor Buzz do. So it's a pretty good fit. Pretty good fit. Always enjoy talking to you, my man. So we've got some good topics here today, including some ones that we didn't get to last week, since we had a long discussion about the Game Awards nominees and hashtag Free Melee, which hopefully we can get some updates on eventually and talk about it again. But that may or may not happen if Nintendo just kind of chills and doesn't do anything. But we'll see.
Yeah, we got sideswiped by the Game Awards. We did not expect.
We did.
All those nominations. We
didn't expect all the esports categories.
They weren't even there, or at least maybe I just saw them wrong in the beginning. But when I first did my submissions, half of the esports awards weren't there, and so I looked at them. I'm like, best esports commentator. I'm like, okay,
I guess we're talking about this, kind of.
Oh man, that was bad.
It got to the point where we just had to be like, all right, we need to skip through these. This is taking too long. So maybe we should have done a little more research beforehand. But it's always more fun when we go into it a little blind. It's always more fun.
Yeah.
You guys just get to see it happen live. But let's see what's gonna happen live this week. We've got Fortnite subscription service goes live tomorrow. So a week ago, it would have been in a week, but now it's tomorrow. So we're going to talk about that, how we feel about that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out with a mod on PC that lets you unlock premium cosmetics for free. We'll talk about that and the implications that there may or may not be for that. Xbox's Phil Spencer says, we're not driven by how many consoles we sell. So we're going to see what exactly he means by that. Thank you, Phil Spencer, for your thoughts. Other exciting news, the Xbox Series S and X can emulate PS2 games. Very cool. Very, very cool. What other emulation things do we have going on this week, Ace?
Well, we got that new Nintendo Game & Watch we talked about last week. It can run Doom still, apparently. So that's a thing. And we also have Nvidia is launching their new line. Well, not a new line, but a new graphics card, the RTX 3060 Ti, which is apparently slightly better than the 2080 or the 2080 Super, I should say, or 2080 Ti, whichever one. But we'll get into that one later on. And lastly, we have a mega super expensive copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 that got sold at an auction.
Yes. Another topic that we were not able to get to last week, but it's still here. We're going to talk about it. Don't you worry, guys. We don't leave you hanging for any longer than we have to. But let's go ahead and get into this week's episode of YokeTalk. Excellent. All right, so the Fortnite subscription service. Ace, I need your initial one-sentence thoughts on this.
My one-sentence thoughts. Battle Pass is better.
Okay.
That's my one sentence.
Okay. I think I'd have to agree. I think I'd have to agree. My initial one-sentence thoughts are why? Why? But I know why. Because that's just where markets are headed, is to subscription services. You see it in everything.
See, the thing is, and like, I don't think this replaces the battle pass. Because in the article they talk about like people who own the subscription who already. Oh no, they talk about people who own the subscription and have the battle pass. So it looks like it may be like side to side alongside each other. But the thing with the battle pass was like you only effectively needed to buy it like once. Because if you did the whole battle pass, and this is with most battle passes, like you buy it once, you do all the challenges, you do all the stuff, and then you never need to buy it again.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
it's
until like the next one comes out.
Well, no, because or at least I don't know if Fortnite does it, but at least with like Warzone and like Apex, like the way that it works was like you did the battle pass and then they gave you like the premium currency. So like I would assume that like in Fortnite's case it would be like V-Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And so you did it and then you gained enough V-Bucks
to buy
throughout
the
it
battle pass?
To buy the next battle pass.
Oh.
So like if you bought a skin, you would have to buy V-Bucks. But if you were just grinding out to get like the rewards from the battle pass, you would already have the enough V-Bucks to get the next one.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that's worth noting for sure. So let's take a look at what exactly the subscription looks like. It's $12 a month, and it gets you the current battle pass, gets you 1,000 V-Bucks per month, and an exclusive skin every month. So this month's skin is like this galaxy universe looking skin, and then you also get like a pickaxe and something else maybe. But so there will be exclusive cosmetics that come with this subscription as well. And they actually did say about these cosmetics, they will never be sold or given away to non-crew members. So they've been very clear. These special subscription cosmetics will remain exclusive to the subscription to entice people to do it. The subscription itself is called Fortnite Crew. That's worth mentioning there.
That's a good name.
I mean,
good name.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What better name? Yeah, we're gonna launch the subscription service. What are we gonna call our people?
The crew. Are you part of the crew?
Beautiful. I'm part of the crew.
Oh
no,
man. Yeah. So.
But
so how would you feel about paid, or not paid? Well, I mean technically paid, but exclusive cosmetics to a subscription like this? Like put it. Like, say Warzone did this, and there were exclusive cosmetics. How would you feel?
See, I feel like I'm in like a very like select boat of individuals who just like don't care so much about like the cosmetics. Like for a long time in Warzone, I was like a no skin where like I only had like the base. Like when I didn't even own COD, I just had like the base military like dude. And I didn't bother with skins. And it wasn't until like I was putting a decent amount of hours into it where I was like, you know what? I'll buy like one battle pass. I bought one battle pass and I just kind of got the skins from that. And I really don't care too much about them. So for me, the idea of like, you know, oh, there are these exclusive skins. Like if you're interested in that stuff, like that's great. But still, you're effectively paying what did they say? $12? $12 a month for one exclusive skin. Like,
and the battle pass,
not even,
and 1,000 V-Bucks. So you could probably buy another skin with 1,000 V-Bucks too. But
right. But like, how in the large line of stuff, like you're banking off of like, okay, obviously the 1,000 V-Bucks are going to be good. The battle pass is the battle pass, so I think that's great. But like, I still think that the skin, I mean, it's a nice commodity, but I'm not gonna buy the battle pass over like an exclusive skin, right? I would say the biggest selling point for that subscription model would probably have to be like the 1,000 V-Bucks.
Really?
That's just like you pick and choose. Yeah, because you can pick and choose. Like, let's say that you don't like any of the skins in the bundle. Well, go buy a skin in the shop instead of just being given this skin to you.
I wonder how much 1,000 V-Bucks is normally.
I think like $15.
Let's see. Anybody in the chat know how much is 1,000 V-Bucks?
$20.
$20 for 1,000 V-Bucks?
At least that's what a quick Google search says. Yes. Oh wait, no, 1,000 V-Bucks. No, I'm sorry. 1,000 V-Bucks is $10.
$10.
So you basically get $10 on top of it.
So you're basically paying $2 for the battle pass and the exclusive skin. Not bad, I guess, in comparison.
Wait. $2 for the battle pass and the skin?
Yeah, because the crew subscription is $12 a month, and you get 1,000 V-Bucks a month, which is usually $10. So you're basically spending $2 a month.
Oh, okay.
For the exclusive skin and the battle pass. If you were already going to buy 1,000 V-Bucks a month, which some people do. So like for people who are always just cranking out money on Fortnite, like it's a pretty good deal.
True.
If you were
honestly,
already going to do
when you word it like that, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah. I think I'd be a little disappointed about the exclusive cosmetics if I played Fortnite, especially since Fortnite is a game that's like heavily cosmetic focused. I feel like Warzone isn't as like cosmetic heavy just because of there's only so much variety you can put into the skins and still keep it like looking like Warzone. Whereas with Fortnite, sky's the limit and anything can be a skin. So there's a lot more diversity and just variety there that they can do.
Yeah, Fortnite definitely has probably the best skins that like in the battle royale genre, at least, like has some very out there skins, like, and they're not even like, especially with like the character models, because like not every character model looks like, obviously they're all like the same height at like in some degrees, but like some skins just look drastically different than the others, where like if you see like a floating or like a banana in Warzone, you're gonna be a little freaked out for a second.
Whoa, there's a banana.
Oh man.
Yep. All right. Well, any other thoughts on the subscription service? I think I've gone through all mine.
I would like to know how many people actually play Fortnite, because I feel like we've gone to this point where like I don't know how many people actually play it anymore. Like I think people I feel like it's died from the conversation.
I think people come back to it a lot for a little bit and then they stop playing again. I think it's kind of become that. As far as how many people like still consistently play it, I don't know. But I do think it's kind of become one of those games where people are just kind of always going in and out of it at times.
Right. Yeah, because I know that there was like there's been, at least it feels like, a lull in the community. Oh, and like I don't know what it takes to bring it back. I don't know if Fortnite is destined to like make a resurgence. If Fortnite like came back like strong and made a resurgence, if it's technically dying again, I don't know how many people play it, but it'd be interesting to see how many people are like actively playing Fortnite today. But other than that, Fortnite.
I guess we'll see what the future holds for Fortnite with this new subscription reality that we live in. So thank you, Epic Games. There's some other premium cosmetic topics to discuss here. A mod has been released for Assassin's Creed Valhalla on PC that unlocks premium cosmetics for free. Very interesting. Very interesting. Ace, is this okay? What do you think?
So I had to do a quick search because like for some reason I forgot. But this is not the first time that we've seen something like this happen from a Ubisoft game. At least in terms of like a mod coming out for people to like expose something that was hidden. Because a long time ago, I don't know if you remember, but when Watch Dogs came out, they had this huge like E3 presentation. It was great. The game looked phenomenal, and people were like, "This is going to be an awesome game." And it came out, and people were like, "It looks nothing like the E3 presentation."
Yeah. And
it wasn't until probably like a week later. It wasn't long after the launch of it. They a modder came out and he released this mod pack, and it just had all of the graphical updates that were necessary to give it the E3 presentation, but it was all in game. Like it wasn't like any added assets.
Really?
So like this isn't the first time. Yeah. Yeah, and so people were in an uproar because they were like, you had the ability to give us this, but you just never did. Like you barred them back from having these cool things. So this isn't the first time that Ubisoft has prevented their audience from having this content. Now, is this unreleased content unreleased for a reason? Because at least with the Watch Dogs kind of story, that it was like there was definitely a reason why, like there definitely wasn't a reason, I should say. Like they should have totally made the full graphics options available. But I think of like unreleased cosmetics, and I'm thinking like, hey, maybe here's a scrapped idea. We finished it, but it doesn't really fit in with the story, and stuff like that. So it may be different, but this is something that Ubisoft has done time and time and time again.
I would expect it to be skins they just plan on releasing later, because unfortunately even single player games now are just kind of like these live service things where they add new stuff, and that's not always a bad thing, when it's like very like good DLC or something like that. But and it's not inherently bad, but that's just where the market has kind of gone. My initial thoughts on this, to be honest, is like, this is what happens when you put paid cosmetics in a single player game. Like, what did you expect?
True. True.
And
doesn't need to exist.
And apparently this specific thing has happened before with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Something very similar happened. And they never did anything about it. So apparently they're fine with it. Like they're not I'm sure they're not like the happiest about it, but they're just kind of letting it be. At least they did last time. Apparently the mod, or I don't know if this is the same mod. Might be a different one, but they also allowed you to like more customize your character with like more detailed parameters and stuff. So that's kind of cool. But as far as the premium cosmetics go, yeah, you can also get the skins by grinding the in-game currency. Probably takes a lot longer, which is how they incentivize you to pay for them. So they can be attained for free already. So people are just getting them for free and without time investment.
So wait, they are released.
Some of them.
They just take a while to get.
So there are skins that are available to purchase, whether for premium, real money, or grinding them out in game. But then there's also some skins that the mod has revealed that are not yet attainable in game at all, whether it be through the store or finding them. And so those are ones that I expect they just had planned on releasing at a later date, but they're just already done.
Yeah, cosmetics. You shouldn't have to pay for cosmetics in a single player game. That's insane.
I don't know why you. I mean, I guess for a third person game, maybe you'd want to, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And then Valhalla itself is just another topic altogether that we can get into if you didn't have anything else to say about the cosmetic side of it.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's like, well, no, it's a whole microtransaction thing, but I feel like to the people who do buy them, right? Does it really make the game worth it? Like, does it enhance the game that much that you like are like, this game goes from an 8 to a 9, right? Like, does it really? Or is it just like,
I don't get it, because like in a multiplayer game you get skins so you can look cool to your friends and like the other players that you're playing with in your game. Single player game, like, it's just you.
Exactly. No one else sees it.
I don't get it.
It's just you, unless you're like, recording it for like a video or like live streaming. But then, like, even then, it's
maybe
like, what does it do?
That's a part of it. Maybe Maybe it's so like these big streamers will buy the cosmetics and then other people will want them because the streamer had them. I don't know. I do not know. But anyway, Valhalla as a whole, it has fascinated me, to be honest. It just fascinated me because Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out and it was huge. It was a huge game from what I heard.
Very much.
To be clear, I didn't play Odyssey. I have not played Valhalla and I have no intentions of playing Valhalla. But this is from what I've heard. Odyssey was a huge game and a lot of people didn't like how big it was. They felt like it was unnecessarily large and they could have like slimmed it down a lot. And Ubisoft actually came out and said that they planned on responding to that criticism for Valhalla. But here we are. And Valhalla is even bigger than Odyssey. And then it is also apparently the best-selling Assassin's Creed to date. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated as to why this all... I don't understand, Ace. Can you explain it to me?
No. But like, so there's a point, right? So anybody who remembers Assassin's Creed like in the early like 360 days, you remember, let me just pull up a list of this. Yeah. You remember that like obviously you got your Ezio trilogy, and then you have like Assassin's Creed 3, which was set in like the American Revolution. Like they had some really good games in the beginning. And then there was a point where they just got, for lack of a better word, lazy. And so there was a huge line of like just bad Assassin's Creed games. And then they come out with Origins. Origins is all right from what I heard. I haven't played any of the newer ones. And I honestly don't care to. But they make Origins, it's great. They make Odyssey, it's great. It talks about the beginning of the Assassins. Personally, they make Valhalla and it makes no sense. Like Valhalla, okay, first of all, it could be a great game. Like, this isn't me dissing the game in any capacity for its gameplay or anything. It could be amazing. But I just have a personal gripe with Assassin's Creed and Vikings. Like,
I thought it was very strange too. I mean, I thought the pirate thing was a bit of a stretch back in the day with Black Flag. And I don't think they did anything too crazy since then. But yeah, as soon as I saw the Vikings, I was like, this is not even Assassin's Creed anymore. Like, this is
exactly
completely. And I already felt like that with Origins. Like, just the way the gameplay headed. And like, if you enjoy the new gameplay, that's great. I'm glad that you do. But it just seemed so far removed from what Assassin's Creed was. And it just seemed like they were trying to use the name of Assassin's Creed to carry through into new ideas that they wanted to do because the old formula kind of got stale. And that's kind of fine, I guess. But like, I just didn't care for the new direction. And I still don't care for it. And we're just so far removed from what it once was.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
The thing is too, is like, you have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then you have Assassin's Creed Origins, and both of them, like, okay, yeah, they're way different, but at least in their like respective cultures, like they have like assassin like figures. Like Egyptians had assassins, Romans not so much. But like, it's not like there aren't like a million other cultures that have like stealthy figures to be like assassins for them. Like, we have a whole, like, I'm not saying that I want it, but I am saying I want it. But like Japan, we have a whole culture of ninjas.
I think
where
one
just
of the
like
spin-offs was in Japan.
Right. But like, I think that was like a mobile game or something. Like
that.
We need like a trip, like Sekiro, or not Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima. Like just they made it so good. Like, just make a game, just make Ghost of Tsushima, just remake it, just because, like, at least thematically, I just don't like the idea of Vikings. Like, at least associated with being an assassin, with being stealthy. Like, okay, for a general action adventure game, like they could have renamed this and just called it Valhalla, and I would have been completely okay. Actually, yeah, I would have been way better with this game if it was just called Valhalla.
Yeah. Apparently, you, from what I've heard, you never have to actually stealth in the game if you don't want to. And it's like, that choice is great, I guess. But I just feel like you've completely abandoned everybody who enjoyed the games at first. And like, I guess that's not like a bad thing. Like, they have the right to do what they want. But I just don't get it. I don't get why people love them so much. I guess like it's fine that they do, but I don't know. It's just like, I don't get it.
Bring it back to its roots. Go to Japan. Go to anywhere else. Just no, the Vikings. Just no Vikings. No Vikings.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about Valhalla. I've heard the game is like okay. Like it's not like bad, but it's okay.
Right, because I mean, a game can have great gameplay, and like writers can finagle a story to like mix into the lore, like if they have skill. But it's just like, it just felt like Assassin's Creed is like, so like you said, it's so far removed from where it was that it feels like, it almost feels like it got rebooted.
Yeah.
At one point, and like completely did a 180 on everything that it was, and it started with Odyssey. Yeah, Origins. Odyssey. Or Origins. Yeah, sorry. It started with Origins, and it's just like from Origins onwards, it's this whole new formula that isn't bad. It's not bad at all, but it's just so drastically different. And maybe different is necessary, but if different is necessary, just make a new game.
Yeah.
Like let Assassin's Creed be Assassin's Creed, and let new games and new formulas arise, because they're gonna be stuck. Like, and Ubisoft already has this problem. Like Ubisoft has this problem of all of their games being very, very similar. Where it's like action adventure game. You go to this area, you go to this tower, and you unlock all the sections of the map, and there's different things to do on the world, like collect these things. And so it's like, obviously they're going to reinvent the wheel at some point. But like, if they're going to do that, I mean, you might as well just make a new game while you're at it. And so I'm excited. Ubisoft is doing well, all things considered. You know, they're not making Assassin's Creed Syndicate anymore, for those of you who remember that. But you know, it's different. It's changed.
I forgot about that one.
Very much so.
I don't know. Last thing I'll say about Assassin's Creed, and then we'll move on. I feel like they almost started to diverge from what it once was, even before Origins, because you had the whole story like outside of the Animus going on, right, with Desmond and all that, and that was like really interesting. I never played all of them, so I don't know like the full story, but it was really interesting and cool. And they got to a point, it might have been with Unity, might have been where they kind of just stopped doing that. Or well, I don't know. I didn't play 3 or Black Flag either, so maybe it started with one of those. But like they basically just like abandoned the entire like outside of the Animus story. I remember playing Unity. I actually enjoyed Unity. I played it after they fixed all the bugs. But I actually enjoyed Unity. I remember playing it, and basically the only interaction you would have outside of the Animus was via these like videos of like this girl talking to you about things that you were like doing that were good for like the real world or something. But then it never like amounted to anything. So they were just like trying to keep the Animus thing like alive or whatever. And now like I haven't heard or seen anything about the Animus in the newest schemes. Like it's just gone completely. So I feel like that really cool story element that they had, they just completely abandoned.
Well, I feel like I think it was Assassin's Creed Revelations or at least I think I want to say it's Revelations, but like the whole Desmond thing ended
Yeah.
after that because he like spoiler alert for those of you who haven't played Assassin's Creed, he dies. Like he's just straight up gets. I think he just gets like just stabbed. But yeah, he dies, and then I think after that is Assassin's Creed. It's not Assassin's Creed 4, but in 3 he dies. I'm sorry. In 3 he dies.
Oh, really? It was
And
in
then
3?
in I think so. The last one of the trilogy, because Assassin's Creed 3 still had Desmond, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But
Okay.
he dies. I could be completely wrong, but he dies, period. And then I remember in 4, it's almost like they abandoned. It felt like they abandoned the whole story altogether because it was just like you still went to Abstergo, you still were there, but it was just like you were just this dude. Like, you didn't really have a name, you didn't really have an identity. You're just dude in Animus. And so yeah, it's been a big change, very different.
Yeah.
But
we'll go ahead and move on.
To those who love it,
yes. If you love it, good for you. Enjoy. Just don't buy the microtransactions. Unless you really want to. But
unless you really
things will
want
be better if you don't, I promise. All right. So next up, Xbox's Phil Spencer says, we're not driven by how many consoles we sell. I'm not surprised by this statement.
Really?
Not surprised. I think it was very clear the direction that they were headed with the subscription model of their streaming service and things like that. I'm not surprised. Especially going back to, earlier in the year when I think he said something like they don't even see like Sony and Nintendo as a competitor anymore. And I think this is part of the reason because nobody else is really doing this thing where they're allowing people to access their content without having to own their console.
Right. So so that here's my thing, right? And I say this on stream a lot, and I always wonder, like, I wish I was in the gaming industry so I could know how much this actually like this actually makes sense, because like I would want to know how much a Game Pass play contributes to the developer, right? Because in that article he talks about basically the success of Game Pass and like you said, the idea of like the streaming not the streaming service, but just like the Game Pass service, and allowing themselves to be more of a platform than a console. And so with that, they say like they basically say we couldn't be able to greenlit certain games.
Yeah, I was just looking at that part of the article.
He references Flight Simulator. He also references one of a game, I forget what it's called, but it's the same developers. Yeah, Tell Me Why, made by the same people who made Life is Strange.
Okay, cool.
Which is like they're great games, and again, like we talked about last week, I don't understand why people like simulator games, but apparently they do very well. But it's this idea that like they're going toward this streaming or this like subscription based model, but how much does a single subscription actually contribute to the developer? Because before it's like, and again, I don't know the split profits on physical copies, but before it's like $60 for one game, right? $60 for NBA 2K25, and like a portion of it goes to Microsoft and a portion of it goes to the devs and all of their people that it needs to get dispersed onto. So it's like how much of a share or how much money goes for a single play, because like that to me feels like the main thing, right? Because it's almost like Google Stadia had like a similar thing going on, which that's the name that, man, y'all remember that? Because it still exists. But Google Stadia had something, a similar issue that people talked about, where it's like we have the subscription based formula, but how are we going to be able to output AAA titles for it and still maintain a profit? I think with indie titles, I think it's a little bit better because dev cost is lower, and so overall prices and net gain is like there's a higher barrier to entry, it feels like, because it is like less money to make it. But for a studio like CD Projekt Red, where you're developing this huge AAA, massive, high budget game, you need all the sales that you can,
Mhm.
right? And so not only does being a console help to have a platform to play it, but selling the individual discs or selling the individual copies, I feel like Game Pass is great, but how beneficial is it for the big players, I guess?
Sure. Um, that's a good question. I think it does enable a lot of people to play more AAA games than they otherwise would have been able to. Because you think each AAA game is 60, now even $70, right? Um,
Mhm.
and you'll have probably one come out a month sometimes, maybe even more. And that's a lot of money for some people. But you get Game Pass, $15 a month, and you can just play all of them as they come out for the most part. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So
Right.
I think for some people, it makes those AAA games more accessible.
Right. And definitely for a consumer, it's a great option. Like I have the battle pass, or not the
The
battle
Battle
pass,
Pass.
the Game Pass.
The truth comes
I
out.
have the Game Pass.
Acewing loves
I've
Fortnite.
but I have the Game Pass, and there's a couple of really good games on there. Like Alien Isolation is one. The new Dragon Quest Outer World is on there. Like there's a bunch of really good games. But again, it's like these games are also games that have been out for a good bit.
Mhm.
They've had their time to really like almost like see like, is this game successful? Is this game like beneficial or not beneficial, but has it netted a profit for the company? There are very few, if any, just kind of scrolling through it right now. There's very few new games, and like the only new game that I guess you could really say, at least looking on it, was the re-release of Halo 4 for Master Chief Collection. I think that's like the newest title to come out for
Still a really
Game
old
Pass.
title.
Yeah, it's still a really old title. But I'm saying like at least in the Master Chief Collection.
Mhm.
And so like it would be interesting to see them. I would get on the battle pass for this one if they
Game
did
Pass.
this. If or
Guys, its true colors are showing. True colors.
I would get on the Game Pass if they did like an Xbox Direct or something like that. And they released hey, like Gears of War 6, right? Gears of War 6 releasing on XYZ day, coming directly to Battle Pass, or coming
Oh my
directly to Game
gosh.
Pass, coming directly to Game Pass
So I think
for
that's the
free.
plan.
Is it?
Pretty sure that's the plan. I know Halo is going to be on the Battle Pass day one, and
But Halo's already free,
well, not the campaign.
right? Which is my worry.
Talking about the new Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah. So Halo Infinite's the multiplayer is going to be free, but like, how many people are only going to buy? Like, how many people? Like, yeah. I like.
Anyway.
I don't know how many people are actually going to buy that.
I'm pretty sure Valhalla is on the Game Pass. It might not be. Let me search that real quick. Valhalla.
Not to my knowledge.
I could be wrong.
If Valhalla was on Game Pass, I would change my outlook completely and say go for it. But like, if that is the move, if that's what they're planning on doing, right? Releasing like AAA games day one on Game Pass for free, as a consumer, bro, like that's a win. That's a win for me at least. Like I can get down with that. But if it's gonna be like a year out, if I have to wait a year to play Valhalla, I mean, I guess in the long run it'll be worth it because I'm not spending $60 on it. But still, I think the AAA things may be very, very good things to hop on.
It might not be on Game Pass.
No, I think Syndicate is. Hold on. Let's see. But
Beyond Light is on Game Pass. Destiny 2, the new expansion.
It is?
Mhm. You can play it with Game Pass.
Wow.
So there's
Okay.
some AAA thing. I'm getting mixed things about Valhalla. There was like some sources circulating that said it was going to be on Game Pass, and I can't find anything concrete. So it may or may not be on Game Pass. But another thing, they also bought Bethesda. So you know all
True.
those are coming to Game Pass. Day one. I think they actually said that already, that they're going to be on Game Pass day one. The future Bethesda games. So, but yeah.
So that's a good example. So like, if okay, here big play.
Big
This
brain.
is Microsoft's win for the decade if they do this. Assassin's Creed, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. Oh,
get it together. You got this.
Elder Scrolls 6. If Elder Scrolls 6 comes out on Game Pass,
100%.
day one,
100%.
Xbox wins. Xbox wins the decade.
Because then any Joe Schmo without even a console can play Elder Scrolls 6 on their phone. Like, win.
Right.
Win. They just won.
Yeah. So, if they did that, or like, obviously they have more than the Elder Scrolls. Like, if they did like Fallout 5, if they did like I don't know what else they have going for them,
Starfield.
but like if they did Starfield, release a new Starfield, just make it day one available, Game Pass. You win. It's the key to success. But again, I have to wonder, how much does one play contribute to the developers?
Right, that was the original topic. I mean,
so because if it doesn't, because obviously for a studio like Bethesda, like they're probably like, and especially because they got bought out, right? They're probably doing very well for a long time. But like, again, like for maybe not like an indie studio, but like a medium-sized studio, like how drastic would it be to put their games on Game Pass?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if anything has come out about how it is for the AAA developers on Game Pass. I would assume there's probably some sort of like flat fee they are granted for putting their game on Game Pass, and then I would hope they also get a decent commission depending on how many people they have playing it via Game Pass. But who knows? I think the more people that we see start doing it, that will, or the less, that will kind of show us what that experience is like for them indirectly. So, all right. In other news, Xbox related news, the Xbox Series S and X can emulate PS2 games. This is so funny. This is so funny.
I love it.
It's so funny.
I love it.
PlayStation may not let you play your PS2 games on the new PS5, but you can do it on the Xbox. Yes, you can, friends. So here's how it works. Apparently, you need to enable developer mode on your console, which does require a like one-time $19 fee, I believe I read in here. So that's kind of interesting, just to register as a developer on your console. And then once you do that, you can basically sideload universal Windows applications to your console. One of which is PCX2, a very well-known PlayStation 2 emulator on the PC for a long time. And you can then emulate PlayStation 2 games on your Xbox.
Dang.
Wow.
That's a win. So that's another win for Xbox.
And the interesting, one more thing before you go, the interesting thing about this is like it really doesn't take that much complicated setup, because a lot of times with things like this, you gotta like manually like install like crazy software and like hack the console in some way. But it's literally just you like become a developer and then you download the emulator and you get a ROM and you play it and it just works. Like it's easy.
Right. That's crazy. Like this, and the thing is, and the reason, and people, the article talks about it. People are getting all up in a fuss about it because, like, uh, obviously, if for those of you who have a PS5, you can play PS4 games on it, but you can't play PS3 games and you can't play PS2 games on it, and PS1 games. And so people are very, very upset about that because I think it was hinted that that would be possible in some capacity, at least with PS3 games. They definitely confirmed that PS4 games were going to be backwards compatible, but I think they were trying and giving like hints that it was going to go even like further down the pipeline. And so to see now that you can emulate it on an Xbox, I mean, it's great, but it just goes to show like the technology is there. The technology has always been there. Like that's the thing is people. I feel like people need to remember that like the technology for backwards compatibility always existed, and
it's better than ever.
Maybe, yeah, and like I don't understand why it's so difficult. And if I would be okay if this was the way going forward until like until the end of like gaming, right? Like if developers were like, all right, we're not going to include backwards compatibility, but we're going to allow dev mode to allow people to like, do their own things. Obviously that's going to lead to like modding and stuff like that. But like if they don't want to put in the effort, because obviously they care to a degree about backwards compatibility. Otherwise, if it was really an easy thing to do, they would just do it. Unless they're like Nintendo and they don't listen. But if they just gave us the ability to do it, I feel like it would be so much easier. Like let us plug in our own flash drives. Let us install. If I want to play Mario 64 on my PS5, let me install it.
It'd be so funny.
Let me install Project 64 and do my thing.
I think there is a little bit of a gray area with this because emulation itself is like a little bit of a gray in a sense, depending on how you get your ROMs. But I think it would be more so complicated on the console side of things. Because I feel like Sony would not be okay with people using their Xboxes to emulate PS2 games. Like, I feel like they're just not okay with that at all. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like we could very easily run into some like copyright battles with things like that and them getting mad at each other for emulating their games. So I don't know how far this would go in that sense, but I do hopefully, I would hope that these companies realize, like Xbox and Sony in particular, that they realize that these new consoles have the power to emulate old games. Emulation has always been around. And for a long time, it was really difficult because emulating a game requires so much more horsepower than was originally required to run the game on the native console because you're emulating it. So you're doing so many extra calculations to emulate the game and basically trick it into think it's being run on the native console. So it's a lot harder to emulate a game than it is to just run it on the console. And like Xbox 360, there's no way that was emulating anything. It just wasn't strong enough. Even the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One probably couldn't do a whole lot with emulation, even trying to emulate like an Xbox game, original Xbox game or something like that. But now these new consoles have what it takes to emulate these games. And I think that it is the door to just opening up complete backwards compatibility to their entire past libraries.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Backwards compatibility is nothing but a gain, right? It's nothing but a win in any person's like field. That's why people love the Xbox One, right? That's why people were so like, obviously the PS4 probably did better in terms of like games, but like the Xbox One, you could play almost every single, probably not every single, but you could play a ton of 360 games and original Xbox games on your Xbox One. And that was what people looked at because they were like, wow, on this console, I can play every game. Like, if I wanted to play, like stinking not Mario Party. If I wanted to play like Call of Duty, like World at War on the 360, I could do that. But if I'm on PS4, if I wanted to play like Uncharted 2, I couldn't even do that. Because it's just not available. The technology wasn't. The technology was there, but it wasn't given to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, all that it does for the developer, like in terms of like the results, is it just keeps your library relevant, right? It keeps your library alive. And like, especially for people who are like, because here's the thing, what a lot of people will do, right, is, and especially for people like myself, and for early adopters, for people who early adopt consoles, but never go past the early adoption stage, they have the weaker versions of the consoles. So like right now, over on my like shelf, I have like the original PS4, which can't output in 4K, which can't output at 60 FPS on most games. And so I had no reason to buy another PS4 because I'm not spending like $700 on another PS4. But a PS5 comes along, and what do I want to do? I would love to be able to play like, X game that's now playable in 4K on a PS4 Pro. I can do on a PS5 if I was able to play it. But not knowing if my game is backwards compatible or not, like that's a huge thing. Like I just want to enjoy my games. And so like I feel like there's nothing but wins on whichever side actually invests the time, like money and effort into doing this. And so like if modders can do it, and if it becomes a popular thing, like I feel like this isn't like a conversation that needs to be like, this isn't an introductory conversation. Like I feel like people have already seen this, people have already known that this is popular, people know that they want this. And so it's just like when will you learn?
Right.
Like when will you learn?
It's like the question isn't, oh, should we do this? It's like, when will we do this? Like it just seems like a no-brainer.
Right.
Yeah. Really, really interesting. I hope that we see both of them head in that direction. I don't think it's going to get crazy where they emulate each other's games. I think that's probably going to get shut down by each other. And they're definitely not going to emulate Nintendo games, but
right.
But I would love to see both of them come out with emulation support to emulate their very close to their entire old libraries. That would be really cool. We got a little bit of time left, guys. Let's jump into the new RTX 3060 Ti graphics card that is dropping tomorrow, if you can get your hands on one, because if you've been following anything about the 3000 series, they're really, 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 really hard to find in stock. And the 3060
They all
Ti
gone.
is probably not going to be much different. And if we had a little bit more time, I might talk about why. But just to give you guys the rundown on this card, I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. It was rumored a little bit for a while, and then I think it was like officially announced either like today or yesterday or something. And they're like, it's coming December 2nd, tomorrow. So a little bit about the performance of the 3060 Ti. It's approximately 20% slower than the 3070. And it's $100 cheaper at $400. It's around the performance of a 2080 Super, to give you guys an idea of what it's like compared to the last generation of cards. And in some cases, particularly CSGO, it even matches the performance of the 2080 Ti. So pretty compelling for $400, I think. I like this. I think this would be something that even I might like want to like try to upgrade to, because like I like want an upgrade, but I can't really afford to like go big. So this might be like the kind of ish sweet spot. I don't know. What do you think, Ace?
What are you running?
I'm on a 1080 still.
You're on a 1080. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a really good price. How much? Like, first of all, hold on. First of all, the fact that you said that RTX or the 3070 was $500.
Yes, that's already
That's
a great
insane.
deal. Yeah,
Because right now on eBay they're being sold for like $1,400.
yeah,
Like,
because nobody
it's
can get them;
insane.
they're all sold out.
Exactly. So I think that honestly, just for the fact that it's available, like, I think that this is something worth getting. Like, before, because here's the thing, right? This is the 2020 issue with consoles, at least, because you saw this in the Switch, you saw this with PS4 or PS5s and Xbox Series X's. People are scalping like never before. Like, people are scalping. It stinks, and you want to get it. So please, if you're looking for this, if you want to get me a late birthday present, who knows?
Or an early
but or an early Christmas present. No, this 3060 is definitely for half the price, and like, or for more power than the 2080 Super and a lesser price than the 3070. I think that's a really good deal.
Yeah, it's very, very competitive, good. And it's more than likely. I didn't look super closely into the in-depth performance analysis of it, but it is almost definitely going to have better ray tracing performance than even the 2080 Ti and all the other previous cards, because they have more RT cores, and it's just better. So it's probably going to outperform them in ray tracing as well, which is very impressive for a $400 card.
Yeah, well worth. If you are looking for one, please keep refreshing tomorrow, because you're gonna need to be first in line when these babies drop.
There's really probably not going to be a whole lot of these. No, because basically the way this works is Nvidia has to they have to get they call it like a fab, is like a place that makes like chips, whether it's graphics chips or computer chips, whatever. So they can only get a certain amount of like fabs to make their chips. And with 3070s, 3080s, and 3090s flying off the shelves already, there's very little incentive that they have other than to just be good stewards of the gaming people. There's very little incentive that they have to make more 3060 Ti's when they could be making 3080s and 3090s and selling those for a higher profit, because it's all the same to them. I'd be very surprised if it cost them anything different to manufacture a 3090 compared to a 3060, because you're just making a chip, and once the chip is designed, like it's done, it's designed. So like obviously a ton of money goes into designing that chip, but once it's designed, you just gotta have the factory make it, and the difference between making a 3060 Ti and a 3080 or a 3090 is very little. So they're gonna want to make more of the better chip because they can sell it for more, and they'll just make more money. So there's probably not going to be a whole lot of these, unfortunately.
It's definitely an appeal to the people, and it's like the budget option. Like it's kind of it's the holiday budget option thing. But right now, I think that because what they need is to just be making, right? Like, I wonder how drastic this, or like pit like a hypothetical scenario, right? You have the 3060 Ti, which is about to come out. But what if instead of making the 3060 Ti for the same amount, disperse amongst what your stock of 3060s are, and instead make 3070, 80s, and 90s? Like, what would be the price, or would people still buy the same amount, or would people buy more, right? Because like you said, 30 series have sold out so fast, and they're gonna, like, their primary goal is to make money. So I wonder if this is an appeal, because this is probably them going into the budget field. I've been watching as more companies have been doing this recently. Google did this with their phones. AMD is almost this model to a T, where it's like, it's still powerful performance, but at an affordable price. And I think that AMD that's
is
like
not
a
that
very
on the CPU side.
It was in its early days. But it's this idea of like budget, but with power. You can like trademark that. but budget with power. Where like the 3060 Ti is still going to be amazing. It's still going to do very well, but it is the budget option of 30 series. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that honestly, that's going to be the way that could be a way that many people get into PC gaming, right?
Yeah.
If you only have like $1,000 for a rig, get a 3060.
You know what this is for right now? This is for somebody who already has a computer that's like maybe bought within the past like 5 years or so. Already has a computer. Maybe it doesn't have a dedicated graphics card. So they're looking at the new consoles, $500 or $300 if you're getting the Series S, or $400 if you're getting the digital PS4. They're looking at those, and now they see this. It's like, oh, $400. Throw this in my computer. Good option, I think.
Maybe. I like definitely. I feel like that definitely could be an option. Yeah, I just don't know. We'd have to see how many people, like, what the total, because I may be wrong, and this may not even be possible because they may just get completely bought out anyways. But we'll probably have to wait and see how many people buy it and how many people, like, if this is all for upgrades or if people are buying new rigs with these. Because like I said, I think that this is great for new people getting into PC gaming. If I saw this like with this price and everything that it gives and it delivers on, this would have been my graphics card of choice. Like, I've been running the 2060 Super, and like, I love it. But if I had waited to get into PC gaming until now, this would have been my go-to graphics card of choice.
Yeah, it's a pretty good time to get into it, but also a little hard because everything's so hard to get. But
scalpers,
darn scalpers. But I think that is going to wrap it up for us today, everybody. We didn't get, you know what? We'll just talk about it real quick. Super Mario 3. How much did it sell for? You guys, that's all you want to know. That's all you want to know. How much did this thing sell for? A rare copy, Super Mario 3, sold for $156,000. $156,000.
That's a lot.
$156,000 for Super Mario 3. What is this? This webpage just started playing a video, and this music just went in full sended.
That's around 390 3060s. 3060 Ti's, I should say.
An initial bid of $62,000. 20 different bidders raised the price to $156,000. Well, while the condition of the game is remarkable, what makes this copy even more singular is the layout of the packaging itself. Exceedingly rare are sealed copies with the word Bros formatted to the left, covering one of Mario's signature white gloves. Collectors have spent years looking for such a version, the earliest in the Super Mario Bros. 3 production history, and usually come up empty-handed. Wow.
Oh, eBay.
Wow.
Oh, eBay. It was sold on eBay, right?
I don't know.
That's the only place I could see that actually happening. I love it.
Where it actually
it's
says
beautiful.
that it was sold. But it was sold, and it was sold for a lot of money. Guys, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, it's Acewing's birthday, if you weren't here at the beginning.
It's my birthday.
It's his birthday. Send him a nice note, or a PS5, if you would be so kind.
Or a PS5. Yes.
So happy birthday to Acewing. Ace, thank you so much for joining me the past 2 weeks. Pastor Boz is on vacation this week. That's why he's not here this week, but we hope to see him back next week. Host me, senpai. You got it, Susie. Alrighty, friends. That is going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the YokeTalk, and we will see you back next week. Take care, everybody.
See ya.